This story follows the extraordinary journey of Bhikkhu Pannakara, a monk who chose a life of peace over wealth and career success. Once an IT engineer, he left the modern world behind to dedicate himself to meditation, discipline, and compassion. He led a 2,300-mile walk for peace across 10 states, enduring harsh weather, hunger, and even tragedy when an accident injured several monks. Alongside them walked a loyal rescue dog named Aloka. As they reached Washington, D.C., their silent pilgrimage inspired thousands, proving that peace can be shown through humble action rather than loud power. In today's world, people chase influence. They chase followers. They chase money. They chase fame. The loudest voices often win. But what if the most powerful message was spoken without words? What if peace didn't come from a speech, but from a single step? This is the story of a man who carried no weapon, held no office, owned no fortune, and yet moved hearts across the world. This is the story of Bhikkhu Pannakara, the monk who walked across America and reminded humanity what peace truly looks like. A different life before the robes. Long before he became known as a monk, Bhikkhu Pannakara lived a life that many people dream of. He was educated, successful, a man of science and technology. He studied in the United States, graduating from the University of Texas at Arlington. He worked as an IT engineer, surrounded by computers, deadlines, and the modern world. His future was clear: a stable career, a comfortable life, a path filled with opportunity. But inside, something was missing. Because even with success, the noise of life never stopped. The mind was always running, always chasing the next thing. And slowly, he began to ask himself a question that changed everything. What is the purpose of life if the heart is not at peace? The call toward silence. Most people, when they feel emptiness, try to fill it with entertainment, with relationships, with ambition. But Bhikkhu Pannakara did something different. Instead of filling the silence, he listened to it. He began practicing meditation. He studied the teachings of the Buddha. He learned about Vipassana, the ancient discipline of seeing reality clearly. Day by day, he trained his mind not to gain power, but to release suffering, not to become famous, but to become free. And eventually, he made a decision that few people ever dare to make. He stepped away from the modern world and entered the monastic life. No luxury, no salary, no personal possessions, only robes, discipline, and the path of compassion. Many people didn't understand. Why would someone leave everything behind? But the truth was simple. He wasn't walking away from life. He was walking toward peace. A journey not meant for attention. Years later, a vision began to grow. Not a campaign, not a protest, not a media event, but a pilgrimage, a walk for peace. Bhikkhu Pannakara and nearly 20 monks gathered together. Their mission was not to argue, not to demand, not to divide. It was to remind the world that peace begins with the human heart. They planned something almost unimaginable: to walk over 2,300 miles from Fort Worth, Texas, all the way to Washington, D.C., on foot, through 10 states, across highways, cities, storms, and winter cold. No sponsors, no luxury support, just monks and the road. When the Walk for Peace began, it wasn't designed to go viral. It was designed to be real. Step after step, the monks walked every day, morning, afternoon, evening, step after step. Some days the sun burned the pavement. Other days the wind cut through their robes like knives. Sometimes rain soaked them completely. Sometimes snow fell silently around them. And yet, they continued. They lived with ancient discipline. Only one simple meal a day. No comfort, no complaint. Some even walked barefoot, feeling every stone, every crack in the road. As part of the journey, people driving past would slow down, confused at first. Who are these men? Why are they walking? Then they would notice the calm, the silence, the gentleness, and something strange would happen. People would feel peace just by seeing them. The world begins to notice. At first, it was only a few, a stranger offering water, a family bowing respectfully, a quiet donation of food. But as the days passed, the story spread, not through shouting, but through presence. Town after town, people gathered. Some joined for a mile, some joined for a day, some simply stood on sidewalks, hands folded, eyes full of respect. Governors began issuing proclamations. Communities welcomed them. State capitals opened their doors. And still, the monks remained humble. No pride, no ego, just walking, just peace. The road tests them, but the road always tests conviction. And then, on November 19th, 2025, everything changed. Near Dayton, Texas, tragedy struck. A vehicle accident occurred. Several monks were seriously injured. The pilgrimage stopped. Pain filled the air. One monk lost his leg. The journey that had inspired so many was suddenly shadowed by suffering. People wondered, is this the end? But the monks understood something deeper. Peace is not proven in comfort. Peace is proven in hardship. The walk paused, but it did not break, because this was never about ease. It was about truth. The loyal companion. And through this journey, there was someone unexpected, not a monk, not a leader, but a dog, a rescue dog named Aloka. Aloka walked faithfully beside them, day after day, mile after mile, a quiet companion of loyalty. Even when injury came, even when surgery and recovery followed, Aloka returned, as if his heart also carried the mission. In his silent devotion, people saw something beautiful. Compassion has no language. Peace belongs to all beings. Toward Washington, the monks continued, through winter air, through exhaustion, through the long miles still ahead, and finally, after 108 days, they approached the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., a place of power, a place of politics, a place of noise. But these monks arrived with none of that. No demands, no anger, only presence, only peace. And when they stepped forward, crowds gathered, not because someone shouted, but because someone walked. And when Bhikkhu Pannakara reached the Lincoln Memorial, the silence of his journey became louder than any speech in the world, because peace was not declared. It was demonstrated, and what happened next is something America will never forget. The capital of noise meets the power of silence. Washington, D.C., a city where history is written with speeches, where decisions are made behind closed doors, where power is measured in influence, and voices compete endlessly for attention. This is where leaders come to demand change. This is where protests fill the streets. This is where microphones are raised. But Bhikkhu Pannakara and the monks arrived with none of those things. No shouting, no signs, no political slogans, only robes, quiet footsteps, and hearts trained in compassion. They had walked for more than 3 months, through storms, through exhaustion, through tragedy, through pain. And now, they stood at the edge of the nation's capital, not to conquer it, not to criticize it, but to offer something rare, a living example of peace. The steps that carried a message. As the monks entered the city, people began to gather. At first, only a few. A passerby stopping, a family watching silently, a stranger holding their hands together in respect. But soon, the crowd grew, not because of marketing, not because of celebrity, but because something about the monks felt different. In a world addicted to noise, their silence was shocking. In a world full of speed, their slowness was sacred. And in a world where everyone demands, their humility felt like a gift. Every step they took seemed to ask a question. What if peace is possible right now? Lincoln Memorial, a place of echoes. And then they arrived at the Lincoln Memorial, a monument that has witnessed some of the greatest moments in American history. The place where Martin Luther King Jr. spoke of dreams. The place where voices cried out for justice. The place where millions have come seeking hope. Now, it welcomed a different kind of message. No speech, no rally, no performance, just monks, standing quietly. As if the air itself became softer, people who came expecting something loud instead found themselves whispering. Even the city seemed to pause. Because the monks reminded everyone of something forgotten, peace is not an idea. Peace is a practice. A leader without command. Bhikkhu Pannakara did not stand like a politician. He did not demand attention. He did not act like someone important. And yet, everyone felt his presence. There are leaders who command with power. There are leaders who influence with money. But the rarest leaders are the ones who inspire simply by how they live. Bhikkhu Pannakara carried no wealth, no title, no army, and still, he moved hearts across states, across cultures, across religions, across borders. Because people could sense something true. This man was not walking for himself. He was walking for humanity. The meaning of the walk. Many people asked, why would monks walk across America? What does this accomplish? The answer was not political. It was spiritual. The monks were showing the world that peace is not something we wait for. Peace is something we embody. Their discipline was their message. 1 meal a day, simplicity, restraint, nonviolence, patience. Each step was a prayer. Each mile was a teaching. They were reminding the world, the mind can be trained, the heart can be softened, and compassion is still possible, even in a divided age. The people who changed along the way. Something remarkable happened during those 2,300 miles. The monks were not the only ones transformed. The people who met them changed too. A man struggling with anger found calm watching them pass. A woman grieving loss felt comfort in their quiet kindness. A teenager lost in modern chaos saw a different way to live. Even those who only saw them for a moment felt something awaken inside, a longing for simplicity, a longing for peace, a longing to slow down and remember what truly matters. Sometimes, the smallest encounter can plant the deepest seed. Tragedy became part of the teaching. And yet, the journey was not without pain. The accident near Dayton, Texas, remained in everyone's memory, a reminder that even the most peaceful path does not avoid suffering. One monk lost his leg. Others were injured. The road demanded sacrifice, but instead of turning tragedy into bitterness, the monks turned it into compassion. They did not respond with blame. They responded with forgiveness. They did not stop walking forward, because the walk was never about perfection. It was about perseverance, and the world watched in awe. Even after loss, they continued. Aloka, the symbol of loyal hearts. And beside them, always remembered, was Aloka, the rescue dog who became more than a companion. He became a symbol, a reminder that peace is not only for humans, that kindness extends to all beings. Aloka walked through the cold, through exhaustion, through injury, and returned again and again. In his loyalty, people saw the purest form of love, not spoken, not explained, just present. Sometimes, the simplest hearts teach the greatest lessons. A message the world cannot ignore. By the time the monks completed their pilgrimage, the world had changed, even if only slightly. Highways had slowed for them. Governors had honored them. Communities had fed them. Strangers had bowed to them, not because they were celebrities, but because they represented something missing: integrity, gentleness, stillness. In a world that rewards aggression, they proved restraint is strength. In a world that celebrates wealth, they proved simplicity is powerful. In a world drowning in noise, they proved silence can speak louder than anything. The 7 billion hearts. The phrase, "the man who moved 7 billion hearts," is not exaggeration, because Bhikkhu Pannakara's journey was not only physical, it was symbolic. Every step was a reminder: peace is possible, compassion is real, humanity can still choose kindness. He did not move hearts with money, he did not move hearts with power, he moved hearts with presence, and that is the rarest influence of all. The final lesson. When the monks stood in Washington, D.C., they did not declare victory, they did not ask for applause, they simply offered a demonstration. This is what peace looks like. Not a slogan, not a speech, not an argument, but a life, a discipline, a journey walked with integrity. Some leaders demand respect, some leaders inspire admiration, but the rare ones transform people simply by walking forward with compassion. So the next time you feel the world is too loud, too angry, too divided, remember this: a group of monks once crossed an entire nation without shouting, without forcing, without demanding, just walking, and in doing so, they reminded millions that peace does not begin in governments or institutions or money. Peace begins in the heart, step by step by step. A quiet revolution. The world often imagines revolution as something loud: marches, speeches, arguments, conflict. But what Bhikkhu Pannakara showed was a different kind of revolution, a quiet one, a revolution of discipline, a revolution of compassion, a revolution of simply refusing to hate. Because sometimes the most radical thing a person can do is remain gentle, to walk peacefully through a world that rewards anger, to stay calm in a world addicted to chaos. This walk was not a protest against anyone. It was a reminder for everyone, a reminder that peace is not weakness. Peace is courage. The strength of simplicity. Think about what these monks carried. Not luggage, not luxury, not comfort. They carried almost nothing except intention, robes, bowls, and the weight of a mission. They slept wherever they could. They ate one humble meal each day. They endured heat, cold, rain, and exhaustion. Yet the simplicity was the point. Because modern life teaches us more is better, faster is better, louder is better. But the monks showed the opposite. Less can be freedom. Silence can be strength. Stillness can be power. And walking slowly can take you further than running blindly. What the walk truly represented The Walk for Peace was not just a journey across America, it was a journey across the human condition, across suffering, across endurance, across faith. Each mile represented something deeper: the struggle against inner anger, the practice of patience, the refusal to respond to hatred with hatred. Because peace is not only about stopping war, peace is about stopping the war inside ourselves. And that is the hardest battle of all. Bhikkhu Pannakara understood, if one person can walk with compassion, then others can too. And if enough hearts soften, the world changes. Not overnight, but step by step. The people who will never forget. Long after the monks returned to silence, the people who witnessed them carried something forward. A child who saw them walking may grow up remembering that calm exists. A driver who slowed down may one day choose kindness instead of rage. A stranger who offered food may feel the joy of generosity again. And someone watching from far away may realize that life does not need to be consumed by noise. The monks did not only walk across states, they walked into people's memories, into their hearts, into their conscience. That is how influence truly works, not by force, but by example. Beyond religion, beyond borders. This story is not only Buddhist, it is human. You do not need to share the monks' faith to understand their message, because compassion belongs to everyone. Peace belongs to every culture. Gentleness belongs to every heart, in every country, in every religion, in every community. People are hungry for something real, not performance, not ego, not division, but sincerity. And sincerity is what Bhikkhu Pannakara carried. The meaning of 7 billion hearts. When people say, the man who moved 7 billion hearts, they do not mean that every person met him. They mean something deeper. They mean that his walk represents a possibility for all humanity. A possibility that kindness still matters, that restraint is strength, that humility is leadership. Bhikkhu Pannakara did not change the world through wealth. He did not change it through authority. He changed it through presence. And presence is the rarest gift in our distracted age. The final image. Imagine it. A monk standing before the Lincoln Memorial. No microphone, no applause, just silence. Behind him, the towering monuments of power. Around him, a crowd of ordinary people. And in that moment, something invisible happens. Not politics, not spectacle, but awakening. Because everyone watching realizes peace is not something we wait for leaders to create. Peace is something we choose in our own lives, in our own words, in our own steps. What we can learn. The Walk for Peace teaches us something simple. You do not need power to inspire. You do not need money to lead. You do not need fame to matter. You only need integrity. In a world that tells you to chase more, choose meaning. In a world that tells you to shout, choose calm. In a world that rewards aggression, choose compassion. Because even one gentle life can ripple further than we imagine. So tonight, as you listen to this story, remember Bhikkhu Pannakara. Remember the monks walking through snow and wind. Remember the tragedy they endured. Remember Aloka, the loyal companion. Remember the silence that spoke louder than any speech. And remember this, peace was not declared. Peace was demonstrated, step by step by step. And perhaps that is how the world will heal, not through noise, but through quiet courage, not through wealth, but through humility, not through power, but through love. If this story moved you, If it reminded you of something good in humanity, take a moment to reflect. What would it look like for you to walk forward with peace? And if you believe the world needs more compassion, share this story, because sometimes the smallest step becomes the beginning of change.